All right, well, somehow I tied it back to wrestling, and let's continue on that strain.
All righty. I'm getting strained already. So AEW was on television again, much to no one's surprise. They started this program on February 23rd, the Wednesday night, with a 10-team battle royal, where both members of the team have to be eliminated, and the winner of this gets a tag team title match against Jungle Boy and Dino Douche, the most lackluster, disappointing World Tag Team Champions in major promotion history. And never is it more obvious that the company AEW and the fans of AEW favor chaos over logic than when they know they're going to have a big lead-in coming. For some reason, people watch The Big Bang Theory. They could be watching Always Sunny or Seinfeld or Modern Family, but they watch The Big Bang Theory, a show about socially awkward nerds. Wonder why. But since they got the big lead in, they want to just start with chaos for the sake of chaos and continue that. Like you suddenly, the first time you ever drive, let's just get in the car, start it up, floor it, and see what happens. So they introduced, the only introduction in this match was for the tag team champions to come out to the stage and stand there and watch it. And that's just so they could play the song that they got the rights to. Baltimore has never been so popular. But all the tag teams were just standing around the ring, and as soon as they ring the bell, everybody jumps in and fight. It's a 20-way to start this thing, and not a single team was introduced, and the announcers just had to mention them as they came to them. So they're gonna try to keep the people with chaos, not quality. I decided to save some time and skip to the finish because the rest of it was going to be nonsense. Was I right in that assumption?
I wouldn't say the rest of it. It was certainly busy, and there was a lot going on, and at times guys standing back waiting for their moment to do something. But once you got down to the last few teams, few people, it got a little better. But for a while there, it was just a big mess, and I personally don't think matches like that are really appealing to a mass audience, especially when you start a show like that. But that's just my opinion.
Well, no, it's all the opinions of the people that didn't watch the show because they started off like that. What the fuck's going on? Did we miss something? It's just crazy all of a sudden. Who's in this thing? Maybe the people stuck to it that were trying to jot down all the participants since nobody told us. The last four, once we got down to that, I started watching. Kyle O'Reilly, Dax, Little Brutus, and Matt of the Hardley Boys.
I will say, if you missed it, and this is no surprise, but when FTR and the Young Bucks squared off in that match, when they got to the point where they slowly walked towards each other so the fans had time to recognize what was happening.
Yeah.
It was almost as if people wanted a rematch.
No!
But we never got it, but people still are intrigued by those two teams in the ring together.
Well, don't worry. The Hardley Boys will come up with enough excuses so at some point the people won't be wanting that match anymore, and then they'll have achieved their mission. But on those four, Fish got eliminated, Fish was eliminated already. But then he came out and he eliminated Dax, even though he'd already been eliminated. And then O'Reilly and Matt Hardley teamed up on Little Brutus. But then O'Reilly suckered Matt because he was really, playing possum on him or playing wolf in sheep's clothing or whatever. And so Fish and O'Reilly win the thing. But again, it's to set up the Hardley Boys arguing with O'Reilly and Fish so that, Adam Cole's conflicted. What's he's going to do? As they're arguing, Adam Page just comes out and jumps O'Reilly and Fish and beats them up while the Hardley Boys stand there. And then Cole comes in, but Page routs him too. And then they throw O'Reilly back in and he gets hit with a buckshot lariat by Page. So, okay, already Fish and O'Reilly win this thing, by cheating, but then any heat that they got was fairly well negated by getting a shit kicked out of them immediately afterwards. And then Page sits down in the middle of the ring and says, let's do story time with Adam Page, baby, to give Cole a taste of his own medicine. And as soon as he said, our tale begins in 2008, I'm like, oh my fucking God. I can't take 13 years of story time with Adam Page. But he went through the promo, trying to their history. He's trying to get people interested in this match, and nobody gives a shit. For all the reasons that we've already discussed. Adam Cole comes in with a huge pop and is immediately diminished, and immediately goes to job guys, and immediately is inserted into the play wrestling. Whose friend are you? You know, oh, my friend, I'm so hurt. It's not major level betrayal amongst men and stabbing somebody in the back at the most, at the biggest opportunity when they're about to win what they've dreamed for all their lives. It's who you going to hang out with after school type of shit with these fucking morons. And Page delivered a prepared dramatic statement about somehow he's going to bury Adam Cole in a grave 6 feet under. A few people went, ooh. This was... Cole has no major wins. He's beaten job guys. He got beat by the mascot. He's challenging for the world title against a world champion that nobody views as a world champion, even himself. You can tell in his lack of confidence when he gets out there and recites this shit. And suddenly it's like this whole offshoot of their promotion that is the kids that have their dramatic issues with each other now is enveloping the world heavyweight champion in this company. What'd you think about this whole pea-picking mess?
I'll say a positive. Every time I watch Dax Harwood in the ring, I realize I wish more guys wrestled like Dax Harwood. I'm not a fan of this giant mess of teams doing this stuff. I'm not a fan of so far the Adam Cole, Adam Page program that just popped up out of nowhere. And now it's the main event. We're supposed to care. I'm sure they'll have a fine match, but I don't right now care about either guy. One of the big disappointments for me has been the fact that Kyle O'Reilly has kind of been slotted right back to where he was. He's the young guy in that group that takes the beating. He'll sell the beating. I don't know. I kind of think that's the one thing NXT, although no one wanted to see the Undisputed Era broken up, the one thing they started getting right was the idea that Kyle O'Reilly could be a guy on his own. But now he's just right back to where he was, for good and for bad.